The Netherlands, the country that flooded itself to stop an army. In the early hours of war, when armies marched and borders burned, one small nation made a decision so desperate, so extreme, that it reshaped its land itself. This is the story of the Netherlands, the country that turned water into a weapon, a land below the sea. For centuries, the Netherlands had lived with an unusual reality. Much of the country sat below sea level, protected only by dikes, canals, and pumps. Water was both a lifeline and a constant threat. But what most invaders didn't realize was this. The Dutch didn't just fear water. They controlled it. And in times of war, that control could become deadly. Europe on the brink of war. As Europe descended into chaos during the early 20th century, powerful armies expanded across the continent. Mechanized forces, tanks, and infantry were designed for speed and shock. The Netherlands knew it could not win a conventional war against such forces. So instead of fighting fire with fire, they prepared to fight steel with water. The secret defense plan, hidden in military archives, was a radical strategy known as controlled inundation. The plan was simple, but devastating. Open floodgates. Destroy dikes. Let seawater and river water rush inland. Entire regions would be submerged under shallow water, too deep for soldiers to march, too shallow for boats to cross. Fields would vanish. Roads would disappear. Armies would be trapped in a liquid nightmare. When the order was given, when invasion became imminent, the Dutch government made a heartbreaking choice. They flooded their own land. Farms that had fed families for generations disappeared overnight. Villages were abandoned. Homes, churches, and fields vanished beneath the water. Civilians watched helplessly as their country sacrificed itself to survive. This was not destruction by an enemy. This was self-inflicted devastation for freedom. Why water was so effective? The flooding wasn't random. The water was kept at a precise depth, around 30 to 60 centimeters. Too deep for marching soldiers. Too shallow for boats. Impossible for heavy vehicles and tanks. Even horses struggled. Equipment rusted. Supply lines collapsed. The invading army slowed, then stalled. The human cost. While the tactic was militarily brilliant, the price was enormous. Families lost everything. Livestock drowned. Diseases spread in stagnant water. Even after the fighting ended, it took months, sometimes years, to reclaim the land. The soil was poisoned by salt. Entire communities had to rebuild from nothing. Victory came at a terrible cost. A legacy that changed warfare. The Dutch flooding strategy shocked military planners across the world. It proved that geography could be a weapon. Infrastructure could be defense. War didn't always require bullets. The Netherlands showed that sometimes the most powerful weapon is the land itself. After the war, once peace returned, the Dutch did what they had always done best. They rebuilt. Water was drained. Dikes were repaired. Fields returned. The same people who had destroyed their land to stop an army now restored it to sustain life. The final lesson. The Netherlands didn't defeat an army with firepower. It defeated it with sacrifice, strategy, and water. A reminder that in war, survival sometimes demands unthinkable choices. And that true strength isn't always found in weapons, but in the will to protect freedom at any cost. Closing line, perfect for ending scene. When the world marched forward with armies, the Netherlands stood still and let the sea fight for them.